Here we go. I started cleaning up. You should clean that thing up, buddy. There you go. You know
All
what? You were right.
right. I mean, Peter, right is one thing. This is eight ball corner pocket type stuff, right? I just want to wait. Let me just put out the link for this stream.
While you're doing that, I have a message from my life partner and spiritual coach, Samantha Barley, who says, "For the love of all things holy, make it clear that you called it and that it's done. All right? Make it clear what's going on. Don't just be a bunch of information. Make it very clear the point that you're making." She wants people to know your brilliance, Tom.
The edge that people find in me is they have to dig inside of it a little bit. They have to sort of like open their minds,
No, you got to make it
whatever impression
obvious,
they're getting.
right? Because you're like Elon. I watched an interview with Elon, and people were like, "Oh, you're cutting Social Security," and he was like, "We're making it better, and we're finding say I'm not cutting Social Security. Why can't you just say that? Well, make it clear they're wrong. I'm not cutting Social Security. Nobody's Social Security will be cut. He says everything around it except making that point very clear. Although he did the best job I heard him do today on the interview on Fox News. But dude, man, I want to be his comm agent. Like, God, there's better ways to do this. Like, your memes are not doing it. Anyway, so you make it very clear, Tom.
Well, people often wonder why I call myself Sacred Prophet, right? Well, a true prophet is not one who predicts the future, but one who sees the present so clearly that the future becomes inevitable. If that's not me, I don't know who is. Peter, Pierre, mon frère. So I just wanted to just victory lap a little bit here on last Sunday Fuel, right? Is what we call free alpha here that people not realizing they can get. Just free money.
Alpha. Hey, that's a great name for something. Free Alpha.
Free
I gotta
money?
get that down.
Free alpha? Yeah. All right. So let me just play this real quick. Oh, I'm in the wrong. Right.
Almost sounds like a movement. I'm gonna hold it beside Free Alpha.
Okay.
I saw the picture you sent me this morning on Telegram, and it took me for a second to
Saw the picture of
realize
what?
that you sent me on Telegram. It took me with the circles that you drew on it. It took me a little second to figure out like what I was watching, and what you were showing me is that it hit your levels,
Correct.
like ding ding.
Ding ding. That's
All right.
exactly right. All right. So just to go over what we did on the last Sunday, right? So here, let me know if you can hear it. What I'm expecting here is that we're almost to, unless we
Okay.
actually, I don't have to play the audio there. Let me just hide the audio, put this back. Okay, so the idea here is I was saying that the weekly trade, which starts off with that red bar, that either we're going to fall down and then bounce up, or we would head up to this top level over here.
Okay. Pause. When was this?
This was on the 23rd.
Scroll down and show the date. Prove it. Scroll down.
You can see the date.
Oh, the day at the top right. You can see
the
it.
top right, yeah. Sunday, March 23rd, 5:07 p.m. Sunday Fuel. So you see where I drew those levels up there?
Yeah.
Basically this line up, and then later on inside of the video, I discuss after we head up to that level, I think we still fall. Let me show it again. I say that we still fall and that we're headed towards 82.4. That was the idea here, headed down towards over here. So either we would fall and continue to fall, or rise up to over here and then fall still. And then later on, I made explicitly the point that what I think is going to happen. Let me just grab it here. Where are we? Okay, I can't find it exactly. Oh, there it is. I said this is where I actually think the price is going to. So even though I gave the two paths, I did favor the topside path. So if we head over to our chart, we can see here that that's exactly what happened. So the chart started off over here on the weekly trade that we're talking about. And just to remind, the idea here is that this is the level. Oh no, you can't see my screen. A second. So the idea here is this is what the chart looked like when we did that stream. So this is the level that I think we're going to be aiming for. And that's exactly what happened. So we broke up and we went straight up to those levels. Now remember, these are magnet levels, right? These levels are magnets. Let's just go faster. All right, so the price went straight up, hit over here. That's where I took my first short at the weekly VWAP level that we were targeting. And I said that because this daily VWAP is nearby, chances are we're going to hit that too. So I enter the short over here, one position, second position. Actually, I did two half positions. And then we ended up in this choppy area where I'm just sitting around going, come on, Bitcoin, you're going to do this to me? You're going to be breaking out? Because there was always a chance, and I put this in my tweet, that we could still move up higher. Actually, I'll even show you the drawings, that we can move up to this trend level. This trend level over here, which is this long-term trend on Bitcoin over the last couple of months, and this gray wave line, these could attract the price. I knew that they were most likely to act as resistance, a ceiling, but we can get all the way up into there and even pierce a little bit. Didn't happen. We moved sideways, and then we headed straight down here to this daily VWAP, right? So our trade over here ended up over here. That's a 200% gain at 50x leverage, right?
And
So
that's
that's what
what
we did.
you called that.
That's exactly. Actually, no, it was down to over here to from VWAP to VWAP is what I called. So if we head back to, actually,
You
I'll
see
just
how
show you
you
here.
like swallow that point? That's the point.
Yes,
The great
yes,
Samantha is telling us those lines there, right? Bounce, touch, touch. That's what you called. You called that on the 23rd of March.
correct.
How difficult is it to call that? Where is it everybody else calling that stuff too? Like, what were you saying?
Those who have eyes to see can see it.
And
So the
did you tweet
trade
this
here,
out?
let's go.
Had you tweeted this out?
I tweeted out on the 24th, so the day after, because I really want people to watch the Sunday Fuel stream and not just wait for the tweets. So if you want to be late for the trade, that's fine. You don't have to watch the stream live. But the next day, basically on the 24th, that's what I pointed out over here, that the levels that we're looking at, this is where I entered in the short, and then I continued after that. But what I called out here was that would be the entry, and that we're headed towards 84.9, 82.4, 76, and 74. So we hit 84.9, and the middle ground here, actually I didn't spell out that one specifically. This is the 84.9 I was talking about, but my chart, I actually drew the line to 84, 84.50.
Which we just hit.
We just hit. So the question now is, that's the reason I want to jump on the stream, is that what happens over here? So we're already getting a little bit of a bounce. And the question is, how much more of a bounce do we get? Do we get a bounce all the way up to VWAP? Do we get it? Maybe this is the low and we're making our run up. And I wanted to make the claim here that I don't think that's the case, right? So in the same way that these levels are the ones that we were talking about this last weekend and where we got to now, we still have this one level here left at 82.4. Okay, so I think 82.4 is incoming. I wouldn't be surprised if we get there today at all. So even though I covered my position over here, I have a little bit of a runner in order to get down to 82.4. Now, here's the big question. Is it possible that we nosedive to 76, 74? I think there's a pretty strong possibility that we do. If we take a look at the S&P, is that here? Let's take a look at the S&P real quick. So a lot of people have been calling this white line that I put on here is the 200-day moving average. A lot of people follow this level as one of the key levels to watch. I don't. I only follow it just to see what other people are going to be saying. But I never follow the 200-day moving average. I have my own delicious, beautiful moving averages that I follow. That's the wave indicator that you're seeing over here. All these colored lines. That's what I follow. So the price. This is the 200-day moving average. We fell down to the different VWAP levels. So these are always the levels we're looking at. We bounced back up. Where did we bounce up to? That's over here. This other VWAP level, and then we retreated. The thing is, we retreated and we broke here. So before this happened, we have here a unmitigated VWAP level for the week, and then another one down over here. So when these things are nearby, the price is sort of like drawn to them like a magnet. And so the fact that we hadn't closed those, I said, okay, what I expect is that we hit up over here and we're going to bounce down at least to these levels. So I'm expecting the S&P to go down to 57, even as low as 56. And the thing is, this is all happening exactly in the period of weakness that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, the Kem Carson period of weakness, window of weakness. So you see this calendar over here at the top right? Here, the March 31st is the quarterly option expiry for Bitcoin. For the stock market. And so it creates this environment that if it's going to be a catalyst and we're going to head downwards, will go down pretty dramatically. It can be pretty drastically. And so on basically until the 31st, until next Monday, we have this period of time that any downs should be exacerbated and any ups can be exacerbated. So I just wanted to quickly point this out for this revelation over here that I do think because this wave hasn't crossed back up over the 74, the 74 is totally doable and possible by Monday. But if it doesn't happen by Monday, or whatever lows we get between now and Monday, that's it. The lows are in, and now it's time to load up the boat and expect this run up in liquidity that we've been talking about. So
you
between
think
now and Monday, we're looking for a low, and basically come Monday, you want to be loading up the boat, or I'm going to be loading up the boat for the run up in Bitcoin.
So you're saying now, today's Friday, March 28th, 11:19 a.m.
Yes.
You're saying because of the events on March 31st, this is going to pull the price down?
We're already seeing that. The price is being pulled down. And I'm saying
Yeah.
that it could go as low as 74,000.
Whatever lows we have between now and Monday, then it's what? To
Then the
moon?
lows are done, and we're headed up to all-time highs.
Okay.
I just call the present, Peter. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That's how
So
it goes.
if it, what would cause it? What would have to happen for that not to occur? That your prediction isn't right? Are there any monkeys that you see hanging around?
Well, it's more about the idea of a catalyst. So the only catalyst we have, the known unknown that we have right now are the Trump tariffs for April 2nd, April 3rd.
Right.
And we're already seeing effects in the markets where a bunch of stocks are dropping because of that. Because a bunch of money is being taken off the table, just waiting to see what happens, right? So if we take a quick look at the Bloomberg homepage, you'll even see a news article for that. They changed it. Never mind. Forget it. So because of the uncertainty, people are selling off, waiting to see where the dust settles before getting back in because they don't want to be holding the bag in case something happens. But that taking the money off the table can be a catalyst. And then if anything else happens at the same time or whatever, it can exacerbate price down to the downside because of dealer position in and options gamma, which we're not going to go into right now. But essentially, the short version of that is if you take a look at the Bitcoin liquidation chart right now, we're seeing that. So this is a chart of at what these are leverage positions in crypto on certain exchanges, Binance, OKX, and Bybit, these big exchanges. And what it's tracking is to see at what price would people get liquidated at if it moved there. So the red line here is at our current price right now for Bitcoin, 84.2. And so the question is, like, over here, there's a big position at 83.5 that says if the price gets down to 83.5, a bunch of those people will be liquidated. Their positions will be those long positions will be liquidated. So these people went long, levered long, and if the price falls down to that level, their longs will sell off. And if their longs sell off, it then exacerbates more down to the downside, right? Because the long position gets sold, the price is going down, and then goes down even further drastically. That's how you get these boom V bottoms that bounce back up. And then over here, we have to the right, we have all this fuel for when the price decides to go back up. If these positions are still there, those shorts are going to get liquidated all the way up to the upside, and we could easily get to 90,000 if these positions are still there. So this is all fuel for the upside, but I think we got to clear out more of the downside. We'll see. Clear out more of the downside. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So I'm expecting a drop.
Doesn't that go back to that? Doesn't that show that most people are shorting like you right now?
They've entered into the shorts right now, yes.
All right, so most people are seeing it. What's special about your prediction, and if everybody's predicting?
So that chart I was just showing you was the 1 day, what's happening right now. If we look at the 7 day, most of the people were long.
I see.
So this is what's being cleared out. So the price is moving down there. The market will often go to wherever it causes the most pain for the most number of people. So it wants to liquidate and liquidate and liquidate and liquidate, and you get this oscillation within the market. That exacerbates the normal buying and selling that happens anyway, that ebb and flow of the buying and selling. So with levered positions, you get even more buying and even more selling, even more buying and more selling, more volatility.
Why does this look to me like most people are shorting on this chart?
Well, there's a heavy short over here, but look at the concentration of the longs. So the longs have a actually higher, sharper concentration closer to the price. So it's more likely that this moves down into this area and then bounces up to that area.
I understand.
It's just see it as magnets. Wherever magnet you're closest to is what's going to pull you more. That's why when the price came, when we saw the price over here jump up to our weekly volume-weighted average price, which we're looking at, it also went just for good measure went to OCD touch the next one, the daily, because it was just hanging around over there. If this line was like up here somewhere, it might not have gone to touch it, but because it was nearby, it's enough to pull the price up that way.
Just so you know, for anybody who's just watching this for the first time, Tom personifies the market and the chart, and he says that the chart has OCD and is compelled to touch these levels. And it's been eerie looking at this over the past couple of weeks. For me, I mean, Tom's been looking at it for way longer. The chart really seems to be really pulled, and if those levels are unmitigated, it like finds a way to get back there come hell or high water.
Here it missed it. If here it had touched it, we would not be back up over here. We would have gone down. But because we didn't touch it, chart goes, no. Let's go. Let's clear that line. Since I'm here, let me just grab that at the same time. And now let's give up the ghost. Right? And so we don't actually have the nearest level that we have right now, the nearest magnet is this 82.4. That's the nearest one. The next one to the top side is 97.5. But that means that if we clear 82.4 and then 76.4 and then this level at 74, basically, all these further down levels get negated, and the only thing that's left is 97.5, and that's where we rocket back up.
It gets negated because the moving average crosses the VWAP, right?
That's right. The volume weighted moving average crosses above, and this is the yearly average. And as long as Bitcoin is in the bullish trend, it never crosses the yearly average. So we
So
can
does
take a look at the chart. We'll never see it cross it.
does it? You're not saying it shoots straight up.
It'll
This
go
will
like this. It'll be
There'll
like what
be
we're
fake
seeing
outs.
here.
There'll be all kinds of stuff. No, I mean,
Well, it'll be like this over here. We'll see something like this. So first it'll come to down to the bottom, bounce, and then shoot up, something like this. Then it'll probably stay go sideways for a little bit, and then parabolic upwards. But whatever happens, it has to happen by June 4th. So this whole thing, the whole thing happens here by June 4th. So we're going to be we're going to use all our knowledge that we've gained so far with our 50x leverage trading and just go as hard long as we can while making sure that we don't get liquidated, because there'll be those liquidation periods, right? We're just going to be accumulating. And I might just say we're going to have a permanently long leverage position and we're just going to trade amongst that. And just keep adding to the position. We're not going to be crazy, go to 50% or whatever. We're still going to maintain it, but we want to hold the long as possible, as opposed to selling it at the next VWAP level. But we'll see. We'll see what the chart tells us at the time. I'm just a holy vessel for the chart, and I just divine it and let you know what the gods say. That's essentially it.
what, if any, what mistake do you think many or most, non-knowledgeable people will do right now?
I've been looking online to find out what other people are deciding to do. And it's been pretty incredible. I've seen very few people who understand why the price has moved to where it is. So most people with this run up over here, this run up to this level, we're saying, okay, now we're headed up to new all-time highs. In fact, this 200 moving average again showed up. People were talking about this. Let me show it to you. All right, 200 moving average. Let's just show it. And so because we crossed this a 200-day moving average. Oh, 1 second, Peter. Forgive me 1 second.
You are forgiven. I've been granted the ability to forgive or not forgive, and I use that wholeheartedly. And in this case, because of how well Tom is doing, I think I'm going to go ahead and forgive him. Look, folks, I'm your, I don't even want to say amateur trader. I'm basically a nothing trader. All right. I'm here as the dumb guy watching the smart people do their things. And if you're a trader out there and you understand what he's talking about, I am actually pretty impressed. I'm impressed with you people. I think you are the salt of the earth. All right. You should reproduce, spread your genes, go out there, meet people, have children, because you're the smart people and your genes need to be passed on. But just looking at this, in the past couple of streams, Tom's wrote me into this. Look, I do what Tom tells me. All right. I follow the Sacred Prophet. I go to the Sacred Prophet Cathedral. I pray at the Sacred Prophet altar. I just do what he says. And it's been profitable for me for many years now. But he's gotten better and better and better at it. So now I'm finding this kind of eerie. It's a little eerie. Tom has been telling me for quite a while how he sees the markets, the visions he receives in his dreams. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but his understanding of it. And, I humor my brother, I humor the guy, but I challenged him to make your predictions. Post them online. I don't give a crap about what you say. Oh, I got this right. If you didn't call it beforehand and prove it, then it doesn't mean anything to me. So he's been doing that. And if you go back and watch our previous streams or look at the clips or whatever, just check out his X. It's kind of eerie. So Tom,
I am pretty
Nostradamus,
amazing.
I think, yeah, Nostradamus is pretty amazing. So yeah, where were we?
Well, where I was that my kid decided to fall behind a bed He was hunting for candy and he got trapped behind the bed, so he's just
Is that
screaming
the
behind the bed.
crying I was hearing?
Yeah, he's all squished behind the bed. All right. So here, so the question here, Peter, is this trend that we're seeing here, this channel. I think it's over. All right. Um, you were asking me what people get wrong. So there's this thing. I wonder if I could find it over here.
Well,
People
it's not
were
only what they get wrong, it's like, what do
what are
you
they not
what
saying?
right not no, what mistake would they make right now or soon?
Oh, the mistake. So the mistake that we make right now was thinking that this channel now is going to continue. That what we're going to do is bounce when we're here back up. Because if you've been watching this, you might think to yourself, okay, I should just keep trading this up and down, up and down, up and down. This is a bear flag. Everyone knows this. This is a common pattern. We have the price down, we have this bear flag up, and then we move down afterwards. I've seen this a million times before. It happens all the time. But for some reason, people think to themselves, I saw a bunch of tweets where people are saying, well, maybe because everyone's seeing this, it won't happen. That's not how the bear flag works, all right, folks? It's not like I get that sometimes the market can move in a way that's completely different than the pattern that you're seeing on the chart. But it's like if you take into consideration the liquidity characteristics that we have within the markets right now and why the price is falling as it is, uh, the counter trend, what drew the bear flag is that people doubted that this would be the case. That's why it moves up over here. That's why this moves up, because people believe net, no, this bear flag is wrong. And it breaks and falls when they realize that it is right. To me, I just find it incredible. People go, hey, this pattern that generally precedes a fall, could it be wrong this time? I mean, yeah, it could. But the whole point of it, I see storm clouds in the air. Doesn't mean that maybe this time it won't rain because we're all expecting it's going to rain. No, the storm clouds are created because of these factors.
Right.
So that's what people will see. The other thing is that I don't think people know how far this can go down. In fact, I've taken a bet on Polymarket, a very small, tiny bet, just for the sake of saying that I did it, to say that Bitcoin will drop below 75,000 by March 31st. Because I just figured, let me just it's like
Right.
hitting the ball into the stands and making sure, sign it afterwards for a little kid in the stand afterwards. Just for fun. Just for fun. But I think this is it. I think we have our channel list done, and we're going to be breaking down. It's right on schedule. What we want to see, and all the lows here, like whatever lows you see, let's say by Sunday night, by Monday. I mean, that's the candle to buy. You want to be buying here. I'm going to be buying crypto both hands and just running up from here. And if I'm wrong, here's the thing, right? If I'm wrong, one, I'm not putting every possible dollar that I have inside of it. I'm not crazy anymore. And the idea here is that if you're wrong, fine. Then the tools I'm using in order to predict that have been right up till now are wrong now, and I'm not any worse off than I was before. Like you sail your ship, you're trying to get to where you need to go, and if you don't get there, well, then you drown. But you get on that ship to begin with. This is the game. And so I have my prediction tools. I'm going to be following it, and it's been pretty good so far. So I'm pretty excited for what the next 2 weeks will bring. Okay, Peter.
Wait, I got one more question for you.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Pull this up. You don't. I mean, maybe you need the chart. Cardano. Any price predictions for Cardano?
No, it's pretty interesting. We don't actually. Actually, I have no price predictions for Cardano at the moment because it's not following. Well, let me just pull it up. I guess I should pull up one quick second here. I was actually taking a look at that today, the crypto charts. Because I was wondering what was going on with Ethereum. I don't even see Ethereum's like down almost 50% over the last year or whatever.
I don't follow garbage chains.
So while look at the bottom right over here. So while Bitcoin has been up 21% over the year, this last box over here, Ethereum has been down 46% over the last year. Pretty brutal. Wow. Cardano's up like 9%, 9%. Solana's up. Solana's down 30% for the year. DOT is basically gone, down 54%. I don't even see how that's going to recover, but we'll see. Uh, Binance 9%. That's what I would expect. Dogecoin down 5. Yeah. So Cardano was actually holding out pretty nicely, especially since there's all this talk of, Donald Trump tweeted out Cardano. So you think to yourself, oh, now's the beginning of whatever. And then it was the great Cardano walkback. And then I'm like, fine, whatever. It had a walkback, but it didn't walk back the price all the way. The price only retreated about 50%. And Charles Hoskinson just did the interview with the 20-minute interview with Donald Trump
Don.
Jr. That was interesting that they chose him to do that. So he's actually
Yeah,
speaking to somebody within the administration on a public stage. I don't think that's to be ignored.
right.
Um,
That was interesting, and they, alluded to, outright said, like, they have a relationship.
yeah.
They've been talking. I mean,
Well,
why
they
would?
don't choose a moderator like that just for nothing,
Yeah,
and you
they
don't
didn't.
choose Charles Hoskinson as a moderator for nothing,
Right, exactly.
right? So I
Wow.
thought it was pretty interesting, and the Donald Trump Jr. was talking about it as, yeah, revamping the financial system, which is like the conversation that Charles Hoskinson wants to have, the Cardanians want to have. They want to build a new system. Charles talked about it recently on an interview, saying, "Hey, you're just talking in terms of crypto as a strategic asset from the government. Like, what does that mean?" And it's the idea is that it's a resource that the government needs to have, right?
Right.
So they buy oil because it's all kinds of circumstances they might want to have oil, not just if there's a war. And they can't get oil supplied by where they normally get it from, but if they need to help adjust prices, if they need to alleviate natural disasters or whatever it is, they have to stockpile. And they have stockpiles of all kinds of stuff. So he's saying, well, let's just say Cardano ends up being used as as an asset for as the blockchain for record keeping or elections, even, right, for the government. Maybe they're not stockpiling it for like a currency reserve, but it's like an asset to be used for blockchain resources. Well, then they might have to stockpile some ADA just to have it on hand for when they need it, and they might stockpile it for 20, 30, 50 years worth of ADA, right? So an influx of it can come. You don't know what might happen for these type of assets, these blockchains, as they're adopted by the governments, and what that reflects, how that reflects in the volume, the demand that's there. So the proxy that you can see is like in gold. Gold has now hit 3,000 or higher than $3,000 per ounce. Why? Because central banks are accumulating them, governments are accumulating them, and so if they also need to accumulate some crypto to power the blockchains or whatever, well, you can see that steady rise in prices. So what price can Cardano get to? $1 million per coin? No, it can get to, $5, $8, $10 per coin, depending on whatever catalyst that's there. But what I care most about is that the downside seems to be capped. Like, the downside seems to be really, really, really capped. It doesn't seem like all of a sudden Cardano will drop from 70 cents that it is right now to 17 cents. Like, I don't see that happening. So I just see that as one of those things that I just buy every 2 weeks. I just buy a little bit of Cardano and just accumulate it. Whereas I leave my DGen 50x leverage trading to where it's needed on Bitcoin.
Phenomenal, Tom. That's fantastic. Very excited. You got a launch coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm not going to announce a launch date or anything like that, but
Don't
it
announce a
is.
launch date, but call to action. People, this is not just a podcast where you're hearing about the markets. His wonderful fancy charts that you're looking at, those colorful lines that, I don't have on my charts. You're going to be able to get those things. Waves. What else?
You're going to get lull, which is when you got to the high point or low point of a particular move. You're going to have the VWAP trend. So you're going to have trends for multi time frames. I think it's one of the best trend indicators you can get out there. It's the one I use all the time, and I wouldn't use it if I didn't think it was good. Like, there's no reason for me to lose money on that. We have the calendar of events. This is something I'm pretty happy. I built this whole calendar system, and people are going to be able to actually have the calendar events there, and I'll populate it, and you'll actually have these things to pay attention to. You have the how many indicators do I have? I have tons of the M2, the liquidity indicator.
M2, you said?
Yeah, so M2 global liquidity indicator, which I'm modifying a little bit in order to get even more. It's the liquidity tracker that we're we're tracking that yellow line of where liquidity will be in the future. But I have other things I'm going to be adding to that as well. So just and that's just the ones off the top of my head. There's like 30 different indicators.
What about
But
anchors?
well, anchors is the multi-time frame VWAP.
You say
I
that
haven't
like
changed it. I haven't
like
changed the name yet. Well, because I have never said anchors. I know it shows up on the thumbnail, but I've never said anchors. But anchors are anchored volume weighted average price, which is the VWAP levels that we keep taking a look at every day and every week.
and here's the kicker. I hope I'm getting this right. It's going to be free.
Absolutely free.
We're
You're
not
already
selling money.
trading. You're already generating some fees. I'll be perfectly transparent. I won some of those fees. So in exchange for my life and blood and sweat and tears, you get these indicators plus my analysis every week, and the dashboard that you're going to get is going to these instead of having to sit down and necessarily watch all the indicators yourself, signals will be sent out, and then it'll either alert you to go take a look at your chart, let you know, hey, this is the price I'm looking at, this is the time frame that it should happen in, and this is the key thing. I'm not here to trade on your behalf. That's not the case, right? 50x leverage, it takes some skill in order to do that. What I'm going to be saving you is the time that you have to sit in front of your computer constantly, in front of your phone constantly, paying attention to what's going on. I'll be sending signals, and then you can decide with your own knowledge compared with other indicators that you have. Hey, now's the time for me to get into this trade. So you're going to get, you don't get exact trades. I'm not going to say enter here and exit here, right? In some nebulous time frame. But what I'm going to give you is this is the trend. Exit here. So enter whenever you want to, but exit here with suggested entries. And I'll tell you, if it doesn't happen by this time frame, then it's over. And most people don't give you that. Most people don't say this will happen within this time frame with this amount of profit, this idea. And that's what I think is cool. So if there's a big move and it's going to be like a 400% gain on a 50x leverage, you can say, okay, well, I'll try 3 bites at the apple, right? To try to get in. And if it's a only 100% gain, you might say, oh, that's not worth it for me to try. If it's a 10x, you might say, okay, I'll just keep trying until we get it. So or until I get the signal from Tana that's invalidated. That's
What
the
I
time
like
frame
about this, from what you've talked to me, is that this strategy or the signal or whatever it's called, you'll tell me what the right word is optimized for 50x leverage, which means
Right.
a small move in the price can yield a big result.
Well, all my indicators work for all assets. But this set that you guys have been seeing me use, this anchor set, is specifically designed for 50x leverage trading. In fact, I think I could do 100x, but it's a little too rich for my blood. So let's just go ahead. You guys can try that out if you want, but you really got to nail that entry. Like when we saw before, where I had 2 entries into it. That only works as my 50x leverage. If I was 100x leverage, I would have been liquidated. So that's difficult. I'm gonna get there. Just give me some time. I'm gonna get there, but it's optimized for 50x leverage, which most people aren't doing. In fact, I can't find one other popular system that's trying to say you want to go basically max long, and we have it.
And this is good because if you're sitting out there and you don't have a ton of money, right? You can't put $10,000 into something. You can't put $100,000 into something, but you have 1,000. This 50x leverage gets you to kind of be able to play in that ballpark, no?
That's right. So given the success rate that we have and how and depending on how you time your entries and manage your positions and stuff like that, it's not insane to double your account value within about 2 to 4 weeks on a good run. Doesn't happen every month, but that's not crazy. I've done it myself several times. Um, I can't promise that because performances may vary, but you'll see the signals and you'll be able to track what's going on over there. That this is actually definitely possible, and that's not like going all in. That's literally at a 5% of your portfolio at a time. It's possible to double your account within a month with 50x leverage. Absolutely possible.
I've got 2 other questions for you. Do you have time?
Yeah.
Does this at all? Is there? I've never heard you mention this. Is why I'm asking. It's just a thought that came to mind. Can this relate at all to prop firm?
So I've been trying that. The issue I've been having, yes, I think it'll work with prop firms. The issue I have with that is there's margin within the prop firm. So the prop firm has a certain amount of loss you can have per day and total on the account. So when you're trading a 50x leverage, sometimes depending on how you do it and how many positions you have on and whatever, you might actually have some significant drawdown. And so you'll actually get stopped out way sooner on prop firm accounts than you would if you're trading manually. So you can actually follow the system with prop firms, but you'd have to manage your trade size differently, and you'd have to like get perfect entries. Like you couldn't just get into a range. You'd have to get in at the very edge of that range, and if you miss it, well, then you miss it, and you're not in the position. But I do think it's possible. I will be doing more of that. In fact, I think I'm going to get you on board to do the prop firm version of that. It's just that in between making the scripts and then running the strategies on crypto futures, I don't have time to also like go and copy the trades on a prop firm account. Plus, I take trades that I don't tell you guys so that I can learn through my wins and losses how to modify it in order to make things better for you. It's painful. Someone's got to do it. And it better not be you guys. I would want to be the one who takes that heat on.
You say you don't have time to go and copy these trades. Can't you just use Traders Post?
No. So the Traders Post does not connect to crypto futures. It only connects to spot. So if I want to do spot, yes, you can absolutely do this. You can connect to Traders Post. In fact, out of the box, we're going to have signals, automated signals sent to Traders Post. The idea here is that we're not automating the trade in your account. You're going to get the signal, and you could just decide to approve it or not approve it at the time. It'll be way broader. It'll be a market order, so it won't be as specific as if you did it on you put the trade on yourself on a crypto exchange. It'll be a general thing. But if you just want to trade spot, or you want to trade a Bitcoin ETF or MSTR or whatever, you'll be able to do that out of the box.
All right, last question. We do a show called The Right Moves. That's, as I understand it, your macro perspective of what's going on, plus commentary on news. Then we also do Revelations, which is throughout the week. Whenever something's happening, like right now, we hop on, we talk about it. Then you have Sunday Fuel. Now, you mentioned to me at some point that Sunday Fuel, which is your directly related to anchors to your signal. We discussed the previous week's trade, how it went, how did your calls go, which I really love. I love that you're the type of person who will be upfront. You don't just put it under the carpet. You sweep it under the rug. You like tell people like, this is what I got right, this is what I got wrong. You're transparent about that. So in Sunday Fuel, we talk about the previous week, and then we also talk about the upcoming week. Your predictions. You told me one time that Sunday Fuel is going to be private once your signal launches.
I was going to do that. My partners decided let's not do that, so it'll be public still.
Oh, so that's good. And I guess
there'll be more signals inside of the dashboard than what I'm actually talking about on the stream, on the Sunday Fuel. So it'll make it more worthwhile for people who are our members. But I'm trying to be useful for everybody. If you just want to watch the videos, just watch the videos.
That's right. That's right. Not only do you have your signals and your indicators here, once you sign up, you're going to have access to a library of indicators. How many do you have? Like 10, 20? How many are there?
We have about 40 right now.
Wow.
And they're going to keep on growing. Basically, I want to be able to cater to, and I think I already do, any trading style, any time frame, from day scalpers to long-term investors. I want everybody to be able to use indicators from the set, all for free. Well, not all for free. If you do the crypto, that stuff is going to be free. If you're going to be trading regular equity markets, well, chances are there's going to be some monthly thing on there. We'll see how we can arrange that. But ideally, I would want those to be free as well. But we'll see.
Fantastic, Tom.
It's great. Very excited. You were talking about dreams. I did have a dream last night. Last night, Bitcoin was up, and before I ended the day, and I wanted to sell out of the position. I was like, it just feels so bad to be slight choppy. I thought it was going to drop. It hadn't dropped yet. I know it can happen at some point, but I hate just sitting on the loss. It just hurts me. And then I had a dream that the chart moved exactly the way that it did, and so I just like stay calm, and I just use it as a don't go to the computer, don't pull out your phone, don't look at it. And I just sat and I waited till I got up, sat on my computer, I turned it on, and hey, there it is. My dream is real. Just to be clear, I don't take trades based on my dream. I take trades based on license plates that I see, but not my dream. I'm not crazy. Nonsense. But I did build all these indicators based on dreams I was having. So that was fun.
I can't wait. I watch the market now. It's exciting. It's exciting to watch the market, to ride this wave. I'm really looking forward to what's going on. Looking forward to Bitcoin launching to the moon. I think everybody's excited about that. But the way you get there, knowing that in more detail, is how you make the most amount of money. It's all great to buy and hold strategy, but you can make money when it goes down. You can make money when it goes up. You can make money when it's choppy. Having the right indicators and the right insight, I think, is crucial if you want to succeed in this space.
That's right. All right. So we'll be back if there's another move. I'm waiting still for that for the drop to. We got a little bounce off of 84.50. So let's wait for that bounce and then short again all the way to 82.4. Hope that's good enough for you, Sam.
Samantha, and I'm sure it's good enough for her. Anyway, she told me this morning. She gave me the look. I'm serious. I go, yeah. I am serious, Peter. You got to make it very clear. I was like, all right, about to annoy Tom with my questions.
All right, man.